All right, we are back with another instant reaction podcast. The Patriots have drafted again on day 3 of the NFL draft. This is just nonstop drafting. They're drafted a million players. Your prayers have been answered, everyone. Your prayers have been answered. The Patriots have drafted a wide receiver, one that Matt apparently doesn't like, but Kayshon Boutte. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the last name, but I feel like that's how you should pronounce the last name, so that's what I'm going to do.
It's Kayshon Boutte.
Ooh, okay, maybe that's better. Okay, Kayshon Boutte, I like it. And you know, based on the rumors we've heard, it's a fitting pronunciation. But Kayshon Boutte from LSU, wide receiver from LSU, they've taken at pick 184. Look, I mean, they drafted a wide receiver. Everyone's been complaining about it. They finally did. Stop complaining.
And here's the thing. I have my issues with Kayshon Boutte. He's a guy who has off-field concerns, character concerns, work ethic concerns, but he was the number 2 receiver in his class coming out of high school. He is crazy talented. You look at the athleticism testing numbers. I'm going to be honest, I don't really buy them. I think he probably just didn't test well, but I think he plays better than that. He plays faster than that. And yeah, you're taking a risk on a guy who at one point was considered a first-round receiver in the 6th round. There's good reasons why he fell. Right. But I also, I didn't want him in the 3rd. In the 6th, I'm totally fine with it. The risk is completely worth the upside right now because you need to get him to buy in. That's the thing. Well, you can get him to buy in New England, and how many, I mean, that's been the Bill Belichick thing for 2.5 decades now, is you buy in, it's going to work. And he's gotten some guys with off-field concerns to buy in, and it's worked. So you get it to work with this guy, and this could be a steal.
Right.
If it doesn't work out, it's a 6th-round pick. Who cares?
Well, that's it, right? And you look at it and say, if the guy is ever going to buy in anywhere, it's going to be here at this point. You're a 6th-round pick, buddy. Like, maybe you can go play in the USFL or the XFL if you want. But like, if you're gonna have to work your ass off to get onto this roster. Forget about to get onto the field. To get onto this roster, you're gonna have to work your ass off. And so, I think for me, you know, it's worth taking the risk. To me, it's worth taking the risk. And like you said, I think you said it perfectly. And you know, Keegan mentioned it's funny because before the Patriots made this pick, probably about an hour ago, maybe, Keegan was talking about the way too early mock drafts that come out, and Boutte was mocked to the Patriots in the 1st round for this year's draft based on what had happened in 2021. So, when you look at how far he's fallen in just a year, there's a guy that we thought could be a 1st-round talent now going in the 6th round. And if he can be healthy and get his head screwed on straight, you could have a real contributor on the field.
Yeah. And again, we'll see how it works. The Patriots have taken some swings at guys like this recently, and it hasn't always worked. Sean Wade, most recently. Do we have another pick?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to
hit the sounder, baby.
I wasn't even on the right page for it. I wasn't ready.
The Patriots have made a...
Oh, it's looped again. It keeps doing that. Why is that the default?
It's stupid that the default is loop. But nevertheless, okay, the Patriots, in a pick that everyone expected, at pick 192, have selected punter Bryce Behringer from Michigan State. Look, we all knew a punter was coming. That's not the punter we thought was coming, right? We know Fitzy wanted the Rutgers punter. You wanted Michael Turk. I wanted Michael Turk. But Bryce Behringer is the answer for the Patriots. They've now drafted a kicker and a punter in this draft. And I think that both of those made perfect sense. You had to draft both of those guys. But, it's surprising for me. I will say this. They got to work with Turk at the Shrine Bowl, right? Did they get to work with Turk at the Shrine Bowl? So they got to work closely with Turk at the Shrine Bowl. Turk's on the board. So obviously they preferred Behringer instead. I wonder, was Behringer at the Senior Bowl? I think he might have been, because I recognize the name.
Behringer was he is the top punter on the board according to Dane Brugler. You gave
Yep.
him a 5th or 6th round grade, so this is good value in that respect. If you
Got
buy
it.
that board, let's say I think he's a righty punter. In the
Ooh.
pictures they have in the Beast, it looks like he's got some goggles on, some rec specs there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's what I'm talking. Oh, he definitely does. Oh, he looks so good. And he wore 99. Get out of here, dude. Oh, and guess what? Senior Bowl participant. So, this is what the Patriots do. They like these guys. They want to get in front of them. Fine. Jake Moody was there. Maybe they wanted Jake Moody, but they got, they ended up with Jesus Christ, his name's already eluding me.
Chad.
Yes, Chad Ryland. We figured it out. Chad Ryland, they ended up with, maybe they wanted Moody, but Moody went before him. They ended up with a kicker they wanted. They started the Senior Bowl. They got to work closely with Michael Turk, who a lot of people thought would be the pick, including myself and you thought would be the pick.
Yeah.
There was the punter from Rutgers that everyone liked, but they end up going with the punter from Michigan State, Bryce Behringer. And this was a necessity pick. You had to pick a punter. You needed a punter. And so they get a punter at 192. And honestly, you look at it and say, what were the biggest needs for the Patriots? I thought we looked at offense, obviously, but we talked about cornerback, we talked about offensive line, and we talked about special teams. And so you draft a kicker and a punter. You draft guys that can play special teams for you. Mapu is a guy that I expect to be starting on special teams immediately. And you shore up the interior of the offensive line. And, and you get a guy in Boutte at 187 that was a projected first round guy heading into this year. And, look, his head is an issue. That's an absolute issue. It's a huge red flag for sure. The testing numbers are garbage. That's a red flag for sure.
But he does not play like those testing numbers when he's bought in. I'll tell you that much.
Right. And that's the thing. So you're taking a shot in the 6th round on a guy that you think has an upside. And whether he ever reaches there or not, we don't know. But at pick 184 or 187, I'm sorry, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. You got the strange Boutte offense. I love it. I do want to circle back to Boutte in a second, but I got the Lance Zierlein scouting report on Bryce Behringer, the punter.
Let's hear it.
As overview, power punter, able to flip the field with his great big leg. He's currently more like a power pitcher who can hit a high number on the radar gun, but is unable to control where it goes. He has the talent to kick on the next level, but might need to dial it back and kick with better hang time and short field touch to truly impress NFL teams. Strengths. Led the nation in both gross and net punting yards. Hit a punt of 60-plus yards in 8 of his 12 games last year. He sounds like he's good in just the actual logistics of getting the punt off on time. He can do directional punting. He's pretty athletic for a punter. He can rescue poor snaps. Sounds like consistency is a little bit of an issue. Hang time is a bit of an issue. Control is a bit of an issue, but he's got the leg. So I'm all in on this guy. I'm in. And for Boutte, the thing I wanted to circle back on there when it comes to highly recruited guys, this is something we've seen them do. Shaun Wade, obviously that hasn't worked out, I think, as anybody wanted, but he's a guy who was mocked to the Patriots in the first round, if you go back to September, of that draft. And Byron Cowart, the defensive tackle who came out, I believe he was the number one. He was number one defensive tackle. Was he the number one overall guy?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, day 3, take a chance on some of these guys who have the crazy numbers and that pedigree in them. And
well, and look, you mentioned the Beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boutte was 18th at the wide receiver position in the Beast. Dane Brugler had him as his 18th overall wide receiver. By the way,
4th round grade.
Right. By the way, hasn't turned 21 yet. Turns 21 next month. So, again, another young player, has had a lot of maturity issues. Yes. But that can be natural with a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid, right? You hope that he can figure that out. He gets to a place with strong veteran leadership like the Patriots have. And I think that makes a lot of sense to me. And again, shoot for the moon. Like we always talk about, shoot for the moon. Go out and try to get the guy that is going to give you the best upside overall. And we talked about
this they're showing Bryce Behringer highlights on ESPN.
Punter highlight. Let's go.
I
Let's
love it.
go. By the way, Adam Schefter tweeted out the Patriots are the first team since the 2000 Raiders to draft both a kicker and a punter in the same year. By the way, the kicker is Sebastian Janikowski, the punter Shane Leckler. If they can have the success that the Raiders had, I mean, I don't think anyone will be arguing with that one, right? So, but Boutte, look, and we talked about this, right? They don't need a depth wide receiver. That's not what they're looking for. Like, fine, but they don't need that. What they need is a guy that could be a number one wide receiver. The jury is out on whether Boutte can actually do that or not, but it looks like the ceiling is there for him to do that. Now, again, the maturity issues, the off-field things, that's a concern. That's a red flag. That's why you're drafting him in the 6th round instead of the 1st or 2nd round. But at 187, why the heck not? You know?
Yeah. And it's
Dark Blue Gold. We'll say Boutte a few more times. I promise. Dark Blue Gold wants to say Boutte a few more times.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to the weaknesses section of Boutte's scouting report here on the Beast. Encountered focus issues and immature moments throughout his tenure at LSU and was publicly called out by Brian Kelly to get him back on track. Didn't leave LSU on the best terms, and his character will be deeply scrutinized by NFL teams. He actually announced that he was returning to LSU, and then there's a lot of rumors about what happened after that, but it does sound a lot like they told him, "No, you're not coming back."
Yeah, it's not ideal.
That's when he left, which I do get concerned when a school with a reputation like LSU's in the SEC says no thanks to a guy who is that highly recruited. But again, New England has a history of turning guys who have off-field concerns into actual good players and getting them to figure it out. And this guy is like, to be clear, this isn't Aaron Hernandez level. This is, he's not focused on like the game, but he has the talent. So we'll see. And even with all the negatives about him, the production numbers, 3 seasons, he had over 500 yards receiving in each of them. He had 9 touchdowns in his sophomore year, and only 6 games in 2021, in a shortened season there. He had 9 touchdowns. He had an ankle injury too, which I think is part of the reason for the testing numbers. We don't know if his athleticism is still quite what it was when he was a freshman, but he's a 5'11" guy. And he had 9 touchdowns. Like that, I think says a lot. He can work in the red zone. He has these flashes of being a really good route runner. He can be really good after the catch. And I like the swing. And here's the thing. I mean, he can be a depth receiver for you too. Like I really like this. And we've talked about like the locker room for New England too. Seems like Kendrick Bourne is a pretty good culture guy. They got some really good culture guys in there, especially with Bill O'Brien. So I like taking this risk. I have my issues, but this is the most talented receiver available right now.
Yeah, I agree. And look, there are other receivers that I like way more than Boutte. Way more, right? There are guys that I wanted to see them go after that I thought that they could have had, where you look at it and say, if I'm sitting on the board at 187, right, and I'm looking at the wide receivers on the board, Boutte was way down the list, and you had said you didn't really want him, right? There's A.T. Perry is still there. Demario Douglas, who they worked at, was still there, right? Like, and so that's the thing. But I just, Bryce Ford Wheaton, Ronnie Bell, like you go down the list, and you're like, man, even Grant DeBose, who was in one of my later mocks, but none of those guys have the upside that Boutte has, right? And again, maybe he never gets there. But if he never gets there, then you wasted pick 187. The whole point is that you're taking lottery tickets, right? You're buying lottery tickets to see what happens, right? And that's all you're doing. And so in this case, you're buying a $20 lottery ticket instead of a $5 lottery ticket, right? So you're going to win more if this guy really hits, as opposed to if you had drafted, a guy like Demario Douglas, right? Who could be good, but he's never going to be that true wide receiver one. Boutte could be that guy.
Yeah.
He might never get there, but he could be.
Yeah. And you never know. And that's, again, at this point in the draft, you're basically taking guys who you would have signed as undrafted free agents, but you want to make sure you get them. So
Right.
we'll see how it works. I'm excited to see them get in the field. And Bryce Behringer, I mean, just a guy who can boom punts like that. It sounds like they got two kickers in here now with legs. So they needed that after last season. And special teams should be better. Field position should be better. The offensive line should be better. The defense should be better with the assets they're pouring in there. And we'll see if the receiving room is better, depending on what this guy gives you in year 1, year 2, whatever.
Right. And so, so we're going to see. We're going to see what happens, but I like it a lot. I like what they're doing. Again, you got upset. Not you, Matt. I'm not targeting you here, Matt, but people got upset that they didn't draft any offensive players. So they went out and drafted offensive players. They said, well, why are you drafting guards? We don't need guards. Well, you kind of do, but nevertheless, well, then we want a wide receiver. Well, now you drafted, wow, that's not, no. This guy isn't good enough. I wanted you to draft another. And it's like, the Patriots just can't win at this point. You know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that they make a pick. I still want them to take a tight end at some point or bring one in at least. Kyle Patterson from Air Force met with President Biden and was given or was allowed to take a leave or to not take a leave, delay his service for a while. And so he's able to get drafted and play in the league, perhaps. And again, he's way down the list of people, and he might end up way down the list anyways. But he was way down the list because a lot of people thought he wasn't going to play right away. And so, I think that's interesting. I talked about Gindorf a few times, and so Zach Kuntz still there, who I think is a good player. So
he and Payne Durham are the two tight ends. Durham is still there, right? I don't think he was
Payne Durham is actually, he may have been drafted already.
Did I miss that?
Right. Maybe you did. Maybe you did miss it because I feel like he was on this list before, and he is no longer on the list. By the way, the pick before the Patriots picked Boutte was Jalen Duncan, who I really liked a lot as a tackle. Payne Durham went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 171.
Yeah, that's a fit. All right,
so
that's fine. But I'm happy with this. How many more picks the Pats have?
The Patriots have 3 more. They have 3 more picks. They have a pick at 214. No, I'm sorry, 210, 214, 245. I just
we might have another double pick episode there, 210, 214 if they keep both.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And my dad has figured out YouTube and is commenting on YouTube. This is a problem, officially a problem. But I believe he said lefty punters are back. I thought he was a righty though, but he might be right. He might be a lefty.
I think he's a righty.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, doesn't say on his Wikipedia page what he is, but nevertheless, Bryce Behringer is the pick. So just to recap, 187, Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver from LSU. Off-field issues for sure, but potentially a real impact player at the wide receiver position. And at 192, Bryce Behringer, the punter from Michigan State, a guy who was the number 1 overall punter. Pretty much consistently the number 1 overall punter. Oh, by the way, my dad mentioned he still wants the hat, which he's not getting because
Cat Belly
reached out to me on Twitter. He is a loyal listener, and so we're excited he's getting the hat. I know people are disappointed, but it is what it is. We are going to do another giveaway before the season, probably to kick off the season. We'll give something else away on YouTube as well. So there will be chances for you to win other things as well. I'm also going to try to make some more stickers and send those out as well, just so people can get some stuff. You know what I mean? So
get going.
That's right. So anyways, that's what we got. Exciting stuff over with the Patriots, and we'll go from there. Look, you can't argue anymore. Now you can't complain. I mean, people are still going to complain, but you can't complain that they didn't take a wide receiver because they did. And so we got what we wanted. So anyways,
and here's I'll also add one last thing on the wide receiver note. We still have undrafted free agents.
Correct.
And I think. Yeah, we have the Patriots do have a long history of here getting guys 6th, 7th undrafted receiver who have done pretty well. Ronnie Bell is still out there too, who I think would be a fit for them. So let's see. Yeah. Let's see what they end up doing.
100%. And and you look at You look at Jacoby Myers, who just left, undrafted free agent. They drafted a wide receiver in the first round and picked him as an undrafted free agent, and he ended up being obviously significantly better than N'Keal Harry, but nevertheless ended up being an actual good player and one of their most consistent players really from the time he got here. So maybe you never know. Ronnie Bell could end up being that guy for the Patriots. So who knows? Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll be back with you when the Patriots pick, presumably at 210, but who knows?
Something like that.